USA fans, some of them here in Riga, hoping for a repeat of 2019 when they won the title. Before that, in Egypt, it was Canada. Of course, those two teams will meet in the semifinals if the USA can take care of Senegal today. Canada winning earlier against a really good Spain team, 81-77. Of course, France just overcame Lithuania 84-79. Serbia and Argentina play later tonight, and will face the winner of that will face France in the other semifinal. And again, you should see the chart. Here we go. So that confirms it. Canada in the upper left there, beating Spain. So they await the winner of this game coming up, USA Senegal. And of course, France, who we just watched beat Lithuania, will take on either Argentina or Serbia. So so far, Mark, I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Mark Clark, and it's well, that's a beautiful jersey there, isn't it? Look at that, North Carolina.
I thought you
that
meant
always
I think you meant the Latvian one next to it.
Always brightens the house. Mark, it's showtime, and really the first two games have been excellent.
Wow, Jeff. 4 games a day, and we think, oh, is that going to take forever? But you're at the first 2 games, so good, so at the top draw, so competitive. Either game could have gone either way. Players making big plays and enhancing their reputation, and you know, 2 great teams going forward to the semi-final. Let's make no bones about this one. This United States team will come into this game so heavy favorites, as they normally do at this stage of the competition. But like, you've got to look at it from a Senegal perspective. What do you have to lose? You know, your 3-point percentage is poor. You're not going to rate yourself in any statistical category comparable to the team at the other end of the floor. However, there's 1 ball and 5 guys on either side of the line, and Senegal have got to approach this with that attitude, and it'll be interesting to see how long they can hang around. They've got to do a job on the glass, and they've got to take care of the basketball. They're one of the worst teams turning the ball over. You can turn the ball over against the United States. You use the word showtime. We could be in for an absolute festival of offensive talent on those turnovers. But hey, at the start of the game, you've got to give the other opponent respect, and Senegal have earned that respect because they're here. You know, there are plenty of teams that are already playing in classification games. So let's expect to see how they go. It's going to be very difficult for them. Sane, with his 12 points a game, is going to get some points going, and Magassar on the glass is going to have his work cut out, because there's no way this player for player, it doesn't work this game. But you know, team on team, Senegal have got to give themselves a chance.
Well, as always, David Hine has been doing a lot of work covering the FIBA Under-19 Basketball World Cup, and you'll see a lot of his work on the official website. So make sure you go there through FIBA, and you can read all sorts of interesting information. You can vote for who you think is the MVP. You can read terrific features on Holmgren, for example. Just a lot of good information there. So again, make sure you go to the official website through FIBA.basketball to look at this FIBA Under-19 Basketball World Cup. Now we'll pause for the national anthems. So Senegal without Ibu Dianko-Badji, who some would say has been their best player. He's left the tournament to go have his NBA workouts. That was already, we would assume, planned ahead of time. Good luck to him. He had a great tournament before leaving. Ryan Jones, Virginia Soledad Petruccini from Argentina, and Kerem Baki from Turkey. Ryan Jones from New Zealand had the honors of officiating this game. But, you know, Badji's not here, but you mentioned Dahaba Magasa, certainly an MVP candidate in this tournament for everything that he's been doing. And, well, you have to say, with USA, Chet Holmgren and Jaden Ivey. And, you know, USA, they just keep churning them out one tournament after another. And Holmgren has certainly lived up to the hype, I would say. He's been pretty good.
I mean, the thing about this tournament, there's loads of hype around lots of people. And as we saw in the last game, where Wanyama just delivered on that hype. And I think it's not a making or breaking moment for guys, but this is a different type of pressure that they'd have come across. Yeah, they have big-time pressure in college in the States. This lineup has got players, you know, and in terms of like Ivey's potential, you got to take that and go, all right, let's see what it's like on a world stage. Different styles of play, how it's going to work.
Michael Miles, Holmgren, Ivey, Lofton, and Ingram in the starting five for the USA for Coach Dixon. Lofton's a fun player to watch, effective, and he is, well, he's a force to be reckoned with. Coach Dixon loves coaching the USA. You know, there's only one result for him, and really USA basketball is acceptable for these guys. They come here to win it. And they will, as you mentioned, they're big favorites coming into this game.
But Jeff, as we always say, you know, it's going to be it'd be an upset of all time, you know, for the United States to go out in a quarterfinal game. Here's the starting lineup for Senegal with Sane and So, Diop, Ndongo, and Magaska. I mean, Magaska makes everything happen for this team. And he can assist, he can score, but you're just worried that the pressure they'll be under defensively is going to lead to turnovers because they haven't taken care of the basketball. And for Coach Evan, it's like, can he get his team to take care of the basketball? And is that going to ask them to get too far out of the way they normally play? And then that'll be counterproductive. But there's nothing like, you know, the games on this stage, the first time you get an African team here against a team from the Americas. You know, the world comes together at various points, and that's the opportunity you get to see different areas play against each other. And obviously we've got Argentina coming up later, playing against Serbia from Europe. So there's, you know, for an under-19, it could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and that you hope Senegal try and make absolutely the most out of their moment.
Michael Miles plays for Dixon at TCU, and I suppose that's good news for both of them. They both know what they expect from each other. But Holmgren, boy, he's really had the attention on him, and it's great to see him on a big stage, demonstrating. Obviously, on his way to Gonzaga, there were a lot of offers on the table for him, and who wouldn't want to go to Gonzaga, eh?
No, I mean, why wouldn't you go to one of the highest ranked programs of current college basketball? But and that's the thing I'd say, you know, about whatever your talent is in a high school and a college system, this is different. And if you're going to make it on the world stage, as a lot of United States players find, you've got to test yourself against the best in the rest of the world. This Senegal is not expected to be a tougher test. They're going to have tougher tests to come. But you've got to take care of business. You've got to respect your opponent. And I'm sure they're going to do that.
Hello and welcome again, folks. Underway is the quarterfinal between USA and Senegal here at the FIBA U19 Basketball World Cup. Two have already been played today. Canada winning against Spain, and France just seeing off Lithuania. And out comes Miles, perhaps right on cue, opening the scoring for the USA with a three-pointer. Sané. Welcome to rebound. This one from the corner. That time with Ingram. USA picking them up for more here, it looks like.
And that's the issue we were mentioning before the game. They were going to come up the floor full court against a team that turns the ball over. There's only two teams worse in terms of turnovers in this competition than Senegal. So that's a recipe that's really going to test, well, not just the backcourt, but the whole of this Senegalese lineup.
Every USA team applies pressure in international competitions. It's not a matter of if, but when. And Senegal throw it out of bounds.
And right off the bat, Jim, this Senegalese team can't play in a way that over-respects the opponent. You know, that penetration wasn't a bad penetration. No one moved on the floor, so there was no pass to be had. And the turnover looks poor because guys are standing around and not actually trying to see the basketball so they can become a pass receiver.
Holmgren behind the arc. It's good. So the second three for the USA.
I've got no issue with Senegal trying to zone at times, but you've got to get to the shooter. You can't stand there and watch people make shots.
Entry pass. The corner. And there for the follow. Almost. For Magassa. He's tough on the boards. Found before the shot, Ivy.
So you can't stand there and look at people shooting. You can't let someone penetrate down the guard of your defense. So you just want to see Senegal come up with the attempt, if you want, to try and get the USA into areas of the floor that they would prefer them to be in and not around the ring like this.
Good pass to Lawson. Look at that. He takes the punishment, makes the shot, and goes to the line. Nice little pump fake. Then once he gets his man off the ground, he goes up. Three-point play. That was a little more dicey, but they get it up, and that creates an opportunity to go in and score. You can beat the press.
Oh, yeah. 3-on-1 they had at the end. They got the layup. Inches away from turning it over on the pass coming out of the back court, though. But,
and the handoff. Beautiful pass from Holmgren, and going up for the easy one, Harrison Ingram. Layup with the left hand.
Nice touch on the pass. And,
yeah, we've seen his passing, we've seen his shooting. Now from the baseline, and they're settling down now.
Throw it into the low post because they can get the catch there, and if they make the decent decision, they're going to be fine.
Miles again. Alton beats Senegal to the rebound. Holmgren again. This time almost turns it over. Miles to the corner. And Ingram drills another three. USA are not short of shooters on this team. Good strong move down low for Senegal, and just trying to stay within touch right now with this USA team.
The ops, based in Europe, based in Gran Canaria, Every time he's got a touch, he's made a really solid decision. It looks like the best place for the ball to go.
Well, that ball bounces high on the rim over the backboard. Ivy. So Senegal back, trailing 8 points. And some substitutions here for USA.
It's a 5-5. Hey, Jeff, it's been productive to go to the low block. I don't really see any reason to change it until the US come up with an answer or a different option defensively. Diop needs a touch.
I think it's just a little bit of space and hits it. So it's Patrick Baldwin, Kennedy Chandler, Jonathan Davis, Caleb First, and Adam Miller on the floor for the USA. And now the pass almost turned over. 18 seconds now on the shot clock. So they got a couple seconds to get it across midcourt.
Without getting too carried away, the most important thing for Senegal now is to try and stay in this for as long as they can so they can make the United States think about the opponent as opposed to believing they're just going to get what they want. So they're just going to try and, again, contain in the half court, take care of the basketball.
Nice, smooth, solid move from First.
Very good to the middle. It's not a great option to allow the square up to the middle or the move to the middle.
First comes up with the rebound. The blue shirts under there for the rebound that time. His pass to First, knocked out of bounds. Face Canada in the semifinals. And that would be a rematch, in fact, if it's USA against Canada from 2017, I believe it was, 2 under-19 World Cups ago in Cairo. There's the three-pointer. And Senegal able to, under pressure there, they're going to get the basketball.
They can challenge the shot like they just did, and do a job boxing out. What they can't get into is allowing penetration and being turned over, so they generate break opportunities for the United States. And you can't put it on the floor when they're going to trap you on that pass. That's just naive is an understatement.
Chandler reaching in, almost coming up with the steal.
Gasser's just got to look before he dribbles. Now he'll go to the pass and throw it out of bounds. That's a horrible series for him. The first time putting it on the floor, then he didn't really have to make the bad pass. There's 2 of the reasons they're one of the leaders in turnover stats. Especially when you consider that the last few possessions they've done well against pressure. They just have to keep doing the same thing.
Miller, another 3 for the USA. They have come out strong today in that regard. Came in shooting around 30%, 4 of 8 so far to start this game. Down in the baseline, nice high arcing shot, it's good.
Sounds like at the NBA Academy, Jeff, there's all sorts of ways that these guys are getting the chance to develop and deliver on some of the natural talent. That's a nice looking arc on the shot. And Sonny's having a nice tournament. He's opened out here pretty well.
9 of the 12 USA players had hit threes coming into this game. They're shot, in fact, over 32%, so almost 1 for 3 on average. Miller missing, And Senegal will get it back. Again, more pressure, and Senegal pass from Agassa goes over the hands of his teammate and out of bounds. Agassa not able to catch that.
Agassa again got it and dribbled it, and then picked it up, and then had to try and it's just all the wrong way around. Have a look before you go anywhere.
Tough drive, finish, and going to the line for a three-point play. Miller.
That's tough. He took a lot of contact on the baseline drive. He gives it the little pose and the gun shoot.
He breaks up the guns. Converts, and the lead now 12 points and more pressure. Sane flips it over to Diatta. Dongo turns, puts it up, and first almost with the rebound with Gassa. Rebound, but puts it over the rim. Now quickly the other way, Chandler. Under 3 minutes to go, up 12 points. Senegal really having to lock down on defense here. Inbound the basketball to first, and one shot and out, so that's good for Senegal. Diop with another rebound. Bamba Diatta off the back of the iron. Sane kept it alive, but it was Baldwin winning the rebound. Baldwin's pass goes off the hands of Miller.
Yeah, we're going to be critical of the United States in situations like that. Not a lot of activity away from the basketball, not a lot of movement to create for each other off the ball. I mean, the penetration didn't actually turn the defense, so nothing happened, and then subsequently the turnover. That's something that, you know, if they're going to progress in this competition, they're going to have to work on. They get the steal and the easy two in the end.
Well, they needed a putback, but right off the bench, and scoring was Peyton Watson. That's it. Look at this pressure. Sane driving, missing was Chandler, but there was Watson. So we'll go down to the bench and listen to Senegal here near the timeout.
Ok, mu def deux passes 3 bi ñëw mu am possibilité fa passe ko neex ok boo passé dugal ci biir yow jegeel ok ñu passé si digg bi ok est-ce que comprend ngeen mais tamit def leen passe bu leen téye bal bi passe et on avance quand même ñu perdre chaque fois ci quand même.
Clear that coach was trying to, you know, say to his team there, don't put yourself in a bad, don't take the dribble. You look to pass the ball and like look to create, make it easier to get it down the floor, because they've been dribbling into traps, trying to throw the ball across the defense. When they've got down into the half court, you know, especially when they've thrown it into the low block, and they're going to turn it up, they've just about recovered it. They've done well. They've got really decent production out of that. Jeff, it's down to the guys off the ball. They've got to give the man with the ball pass options. They can't stand and hide behind the defense as he tries to track.
He checks number 27 now. He's going to inbound the basketball. Gets it back. He's showing a soft touch deal.
Diop's had a nice game. When he was in the game earlier on, he got touched in the post. He passed well as finishing. So
Chandler open. Why not? Drills the three. He's had a nice start to this game. He's had a nice tournament as well. And again, Senegal getting some joy inside.
Diop again, Jeff. You know, he's going to go right every time, but finished really well.
But you've got to be able to stop the USA from scoring, which they haven't looked likely to do, with USA already with 29 points, and they still have over a minute to go in the first quarter. To the corner. And this time, Diop not able to get it to drop.
But you got to like, you know, nice penetration. Sweet-looking pass out the back of the hand from Magasa to Diop in the corner. He just couldn't make the open look, but they broke the defense down, got an open look. And so when they have gone down in the half court, and especially with Magasa when he's been able to attack it, they've got good options.
A little bit of miscommunication there. Ball goes out of bounds. Senegal already assured of their best finish at this tournament by getting to the quarterfinals. And also, you take Baji out of there, so quite functional. Nice pass down low and going up is Kalkbrenner. So good job by him, sneaking down low. Maybe catching some of those passes at Creighton from Ryan Nimbart, Canada.
And that's the other intriguing thing of this tournament, Jeff, especially when you see people going to college where they're playing on different national teams and they have international, the NCAA, and as well as the NBA now. It's just fascinating.
Diata inside the three line, and rebound. So 11.2 seconds to go. Possession arrow will keep it at this end.
3.5 on the shot. They're going to have to come up with something quick.
So he's going to inbound the basketball. Diop doesn't mess around. Puts it up long. Still burned it, even though he got off with plenty of time. So a foul call on the USA. Push. Seconds for Senegal to try to cut into this big deficit. Magasa, a little bit of a floater. And that's how it finishes. Miles almost throwing it in from beyond midcourt. So the USA on top, 32-14 over Senegal at the end of one.
I mean, the number that you're not going to see on these stats when they come up is that turnover number. And
it's a big one. You want me to tell you what it is?
I was just about to get there, but you can...
Well, it's not that. It's not as big as you might think. 5 turnovers.
Is that all?
Yeah. Look. So USA 5 of 9 from deep, 7 of 10. I mean, pretty much getting what they want offensively.
That's the issue. They're getting too many things that they want, and they're not too. And that the first play of the game, when Miles knocked down the three, just swung it from the first to the second side. He gets an open look.
But talking about the turnovers, Mark, 14 points off turnovers for the USA.
Yeah,
so
I think every turnover is generated something.
Yeah.
And it's because a lot of those turnovers have been backcourt turnovers, so they're stealing it and actually just running stuff in. But like Diop has been good for Senegal when he got touches in the block. He's been excellent, and if they get it down against the press, they can get a good option. But the disappointing thing is that you make the same mistake.
Yeah.
Turned it over in the same way too often. Is a Diop baseline jumper, and he's got touch from the perimeter. He's put it on the floor a couple of times and actually got to the far side of the ring. Good athlete, and he's got a lot of upsides. But Senegal can't keep making the same mistakes. If you're going to come to these tournaments, you make the quarterfinal for the first time. You want to come back again. If you're going to come back again, you have to learn while you're here.
So just as a reminder, go check out the website of the tournament. There's a lot of interesting stuff. You go to FIBA.basketball and then go to events, or you can see easily how to get to the Under-19 Basketball World Cup website. And again, vote for who you think could be the MVP. So here we are, second quarter action underway. Of course, you're really not going to know who the MVP is until late, don't you think? Nice drive, and Miles continues to pour it in.
Well, you get to that stage, after today's games, you should be narrowing it down.
Yeah.
And there's probably one or two guys each team, right? That are leading their team.
That's right. Good defense again for the USA, and leading to yet another layup. So full marks that time for Peyton Watson.
And the other thing, Jeff, about the MVP, when you get to this stage of the tournament, you've got a team like the United States where they're so deep, everyone makes contributions.
Well, it's a tough one to pick an MVP out of that team.
Yeah, and then you get like a team such as Canada with one or two players that stand out. Yeah, and then the same thing with France. You've got
Canada, maybe 3 or 4 stand out.
So sometimes the teams with like the 1 or 2 stars, they get more notice. But on this US team, it's the depth of talent. There's just so much depth to it. Nice pass.
How about Holmgren going up and not able to get it to drop? Ball knocked out of Magassa's hands. Baldwin, number 10 coming. Lofton coming back in for the USA as well. So Jonathan Davis, number 10, plays 2 minutes, almost 3 minutes. Magassa. And stolen. Driving in and finishing strong. Ingram. Well, he is a load when he goes to the basket.
It's another one of those turnovers that's going to lead to points. He just got his hand in the lane. It was a pretty sloppy pass, but then he's gone. You're not going to recover from that.
He catches, goes down. Taking it the other way is Davis. Ingram again. Finds Mr. Lofton, who goes up and lays it up and in. Boy, they are on a scintillating pace right now in the USA here against Senegal. 40 points already. And the last 2 coming from Lofton. Here he is again, leading to another timeout for Senegal.
Hey, 44, même pas qui, quand même. Hey, changement, pas du caille. Ah, ok. Oh, hey, écoutez-moi bien. Oh. Nañ def 2-1. buñ def tey suba, ok? Fii carrément, Assane desal ci biir. buñ basculer kii génn ñëw fii après ñu basculer ci raquette. Maintenant ngeen xool fu ñu nekk. Ok, maintenant attaque. On joue comme ça. Il joue comme ça. Attends, on joue comme ça.
USA turning on all cylinders right now, especially defensively, continuing to force turnovers and get points. 16 points off turnovers for the Americans, getting obviously a lot of points in the paint off those turnovers. They've got 22 in all. And the depth, 18 points coming from the bench for the USA. It's all working for Coach Dixon and co. Oop. Coming in. Here he is, number 3. Back up point guard. Tane. And is off the rim. Miles. A little floater. So, rare trip down the floor without points for the USA, and Senegal now with a chance to attack again. He's been quality player. They're going to count it. No, they're going to say beforehand.
No, really?
Well, I don't know. It looked like they weren't.
No, she's
2 shots.
Well, it can't be 2. It's got to be 1. Yeah, it has to be 1.
Okay, yeah. So she has counted. She just didn't give the motion of the basket was good. She signaled the 2.
She just got caught up in the moment with the quality of the dunk.
Yes, as did we all.
As we did all, because it came out a little bit out of nowhere. But in terms of like situations where you enhance your reputation at the moment,
Diop is doing it.
Diop's definitely doing it. I mean, he's great size. You know, he's 2'12", very athletic with good lateral speed.
Lofton, but he didn't go for the block there against Lofton. Disappointing. I thought he might challenge him.
Much better job against the pressure, you know, just waiting, putting the...
And flying in, trying to soar in for the dunk. Bingay blocked, but earns a trip to the line, so good aggressive play.
He did a much better job on the dribble against him. Wait, look, get his head up.
Baldwin got a lot of ball there, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, he saw, because he was doing it under control, he sees the trap coming, he goes over the trap, they go down the floor, they get the high percentage, and they're at the free throw line.
Makes the second, at least, for Senegal.
Senegal showing a little bit of 1-2-2 press. But they take it off at the half court. A lot more action defensively that possession, or this possession.
There's Ivy, and he travels.
It's just a much better series. They get the ball down against the pressure. They get to the free throw, and when they come back, a little bit of 1-2-2 pressure, and just asks the question.
Bamba gets down low and draws another foul. So he was attacking Bamba Diatta.
Interesting to see how Coach Dixon reacts. The last couple of possessions, the US have been a little bit a step down in the intensity they've showed up until now. That's 2 straight penetrations to the ring. Both ended up in free throws. They'll probably come out and press again and see what can happen. And it's not about the winning and the losing now. It's about levels of performance and good habits. Let's go back with a 1-2-2.
Lofton again spins, fouled beforehand, and pushed home to the rack anyway.
until they allowed the guy allowed the easy baseline penetration. I mean, they were in great shape. They'd really matched up well. They'd done a decent job at taking time out of the possession against the trap. And they're going to take Guy out and going to replace him with Dongo.
There's Lofton trying to get position for the inbound pass, but they pass it out to Davis, and does a drop. Senegal will get it back. Foul call. A little bit of a push here on the rebound.
That's back-to-back stops. They've got a little bit of consistency. They've got to do another good job against the trap.
Well, they certainly look vulnerable every time against the trap. The foul was on Lofton, by the way.
All he needed was the ball fake then, and he'd have been fine. Chandler was, to be fair, Chandler was so quick on actually getting the hands up and catching that almost.
Okay, throws it out of bounds. Gives it right back.
One of those things that Benge shouldn't be doing. He doesn't play off the dribble in that way. Just get it, move it on. And then comes up with a very poor blocking foul. His job there is to try and get the ball going to the sideline and enable the Atta to come over and trap, and he just fouled. It's a couple of bad possessions for him.
Chandler misses from deep, and the ball bounced, batted out to Bamba Diatta. He avoids the turnover there, is able to get it to Diop. Gets it back from Diop. Shot clock winding down to take a tough shot, and did not hit anything. The basketball, so it goes back over to the USA.
Sonny's a much bigger option at the front of that 1-2-2 trap.
Oh, good hands.
In fact, he's a very, very long option. That makes life a little bit more difficult for the US trying to beat that. And good rotation coming out, and they almost get the steal, but the deflection leaves it on the baseline. So.
Lofton turns again, goes up for the reverse. Turnover. There's definitely somebody you have to be aware of defensively. He's constantly going at you. Here's Diop, goes in. Good job by Lofton, reaching in, knocking it out of Diop's hands and off his leg.
Like the 1-2-2 trap, almost, and does generate a turnover. You're down 22. You've got to find things to focus and develop on, and the 1-2-2 has given this. They've got a lot of positive out of it, so they're staying with it. They've just got to come down the floor and try and, especially off the ball work, to execute just to get some more open looks. Everything's a little bit forced. Just going to try and find a way. Give themselves like some easier looks. It's all a little bit trying to penetrate into a lot of traffic.
Pass goes fortuitously to Sane. Off the deflection, goes in and out. Look at Diop battling for the board. Doing some good stuff again. Down from the baseline. Another offensive rebound, another opportunity.
Who's done really a nice job. Nice pass there, Diop.
Oh, Diop. Wow. Steps up and hits a three-pointer.
Diop has level here. You know, he's just demonstrating what we probably knew anyway. But the US having to try and beat this press. They're going to take a tough one coming out of it, which is not going to please them. And there's a lot of displeasure on the USA bench at the shot decision.
Again, Diop. Yeah, I thought he should go to the basket, but actually he was kind of like kind of a jumping, fading hook.
Yep.
Got it to drop.
It's a tough move because you're going away from the hoop, and you're still having to try and make this jump hook with all your weight going the wrong way. So that's, you know, it's obviously a shot that you can repetition on. So let's take a listen to the US.
Right, so go set the screen and go. The guy that takes it inbounds, just take off sprinting. You go screen and we'll just go. Let's not play with the thing, all right? Shit, we're dribbling through our legs here now, all right? Again, attack. So again, set the screen. You're sprint now. Boom, you go. All right, you find the other way, okay? However it goes, get space, okay? And then be ready to finish here. And that's jump stop in the lane. I mean, we're jumping in the air playing cute. All right, we're crossing over, jumping in the air, right? Not guarding anybody. All right, here we go. Hey, don't go backwards. All right, we got to improve. We got to improve. Now, we got worse than 5 minutes. That group was bad, just so you know.
Let's get it back.
Here we go.
Get it back.
All right, here we go.
You know, Mark, we haven't really talked about this being the second time Jamie Dixon has led this team. He coached the team in 2009 to the title and 9-0 record down in Auckland, New Zealand, and it was the first time they won the Under-19 World Cup since 1991. So it would be quite, you know, if they could win 3 games here, that'd be a nice little nugget for him to be proud of.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, Harry wins the things, you know, with teams like this. He makes teams with this talent realize they've got to get better. As he said in the end of that last time out, it's about us getting better because he knows that there are two games that are going to be significantly tougher than this. And as we know, the last time the US played Canada in a semi-final, you know, Canada on the way to their title, you know, beat the US in the semi-final. So he knows he's going to have to come and play Saturday. And I don't know if they look at it as a revenge thing, but they're going to look at it in terms of wanting to get to the final.
Meanwhile, Faust, three-point shooter, he was way out there as well.
Yeah.
So that's a bad play. So free throws coming for Miller.
It's always habits for me, Jeff. It's always that, you know, the things you do as what you revert to all the time, and that's what coach was trying to get. It's about improving so that we do the right thing when it matters. And obviously he's not going to enjoy the 2 misses from the free throw line, and that's the other thing. You're up in the game. You've been up in the game since like the opening tip. You've got to stay focused on the performance because no one in their right mind now thinks that they're going to lose the game. And you know the coach is going to be in his own mind thinking about combinations that work for the games coming up. So, you know, there are reasons to execute.
Started all 31 games for LSU last season. And now the pressure once again for the USA. Well, they call it the ball. It'll be Senegal basketball.
The trap's going to come early. When they run their 1-2-1-1 trap this way, and the trap's going to come straight on the inbound pass. So the inbounder, you have to pass it far enough up the floor, and you stay behind the trap. So you're not going to give the passing lane up to the third person in front of the trap to intercept the pass. You've got to make sure you've secured that lane. And this is where, like, Senegal's make life very difficult for themselves. It's just like small pieces of execution.
Diop catches it despite the attention from first, and then he shows us his passing skills, and then coming from behind and blocking it. Watch Johnson, but foul called.
And that's obviously one way to beat that type of press, go longer on the inbound pass. And Diop has had an excellent first half. I mean, he has been exceptional. And again, it's not a surprise. His background tells you that he's used to a level of play. But he can't be the guy that's always relieving the pressure. He can't be the guy that's always breaking down the defense. He needs some help out here. But as I say, Mustafa Boo has done a really nice job when he's come in. He's come in because at the moment, up until now, Magas has had all the headlines in the backcourt.
Yeah, Younger and Boo only averaged about 8 minutes per game before this. And that was a missed opportunity.
Gonzo has to finish that one.
He got the rebound. Holmgren. Float, flies in, and this is where Diop is in position. He's not really moving his feet, but instead of keeping his arms straight up, watch this again.
Yeah, if he'd gone straight up, we've seen that a few times today, that when the defender gets position and goes straight up, there's contact, but everyone's entitled to their own space. But bringing that arm down is going to send Holcomb to the free-throw line. And the US, they're only shooting 66% across the tournament so far from the free-throw line. And it's an area that's, come a close semi-final could be a factor. And if you think back, Jeff, to 2017, it was a huge factor in their loss to Canada in the semi-final.
Well, Holmgren, a lot of people believe this past year, #1 player in American high school basketball, 2021 class anyway. Coming in to Gonzaga.
Great tennis running shoes to play there.
Yeah, really fun to watch. Yeah. Now, Senegal attacking. Good strong rebound, Gay. Jump ball, USA have it. It's incredible how Holmgren grew 8 inches before his freshman year of high school. How is that possible to grow that much in one? That's a lot of growth. Here he is. Passes it down low, and the pump fade. Watson, and the foul.
Obviously, the advantage he has, and it's obviously fortunate of him, is up until the first year of high school, he was probably thinking, I have to learn how to handle the basketball, I have to do this, I have to do that, and all of a sudden he's up there at 2 meters 15, and all of a sudden he's got an attribute that you can't coach. You either are 2 meters 15 or you're not 2 meters 15. But all the skills he might have been developing when he was a very young man, puts him in great shape right now. Much better against the pressure. Wait for the pressure, keep your dribble live.
Traveling is the call, Sané. I mean, I guess there might be some comparisons with Holmgren and France. Yeah, both very tall, very thin, very soft touch.
Get that matchup later in the tournament. That'll be something to
multiple skills on offense. Especially. Amayama, also a big shot blocker. Here's a drive. They're going to count it and call the charge. Call the charge.
I'm sure people around the world will be making comparisons, but when Amayama is a little bit more athletic, shall we say, I think has a little bit more quickness, but they're both ridiculous talents. Why do you have to compare them anyway? They're both going to have great futures in the game. Because it means that people have to write about it.
Yeah, true. Here we go. Sonny not able to get there quickly enough. 1:17 remaining in the first half. So an 18-point advantage for USA. Davis comes back in the game for Watson. Stays with it. Again, comes up short. Be a board maker. Purdue has a nice little impact on this tournament. Here we go. Players going to Purdue. Senegal cut it further. 16 points.
There's purpose in their defense now. The 1-2-2 has given them a bit of purpose. And they come out of it and pick up man-to-man.
Miles to Holmgren. Miles behind the arc. Goes in, and what's the tough finish?
It's forcing the U.S. to make plays, forcing the U.S. to run something, reverse the basketball, get things, as opposed to what was happening in the first quarter. They would just stand there watching them shoot the ball.
All about that, but you know, it's like he says, I heard what they were saying about me, and it's like he has come out and finished the first half with a 3. And again, they have played better when he's been on the court today.
Absolutely, no question.
So at the end of the first half, the USA have taken a 47-32 lead over Senegal.
Senegal, you're going to be really happy the way you finished and played. In fact, played across the second quarter. You cut it to 15. You've not generated turnovers that led to points. You've taken better care of the ball. Coming down the floor, you've ended up with better options. Diop's had an exceptional half, and Wu has been excellent at the points since he came in. And so, like, you know, Diop leads all scorers, and he's the only guy in double digits. And he's had a really impressive half. As we said, like, Wu in the game's done really well. So, like, Senegal coming back have done really well. We're going to see the, you know, the best plays. That if they do this chronologically, at the beginning of the game, there was only one team playing basketball. There was only one team doing the right things, and that was the team in the blue uniform. Getting to the ring, they shot the 3-ball really well early, and, you know, coach was looking for something to engage the Senegalese team with, and Diop's performance and his little change up defensively has done that. The 1-2-2 trap and some zone and some you know, success with that has given it a lot more confidence, and that's given them a chance to get it back to a 32-47 game. In the first part of the game, every single turnover pretty much led to points, because the USA was so efficient.
You know, Senegal have to be thinking. I mean, everybody knows the USA is big favorites in this game. They played like it. You know, they led by 26 points in the first half.
Yeah,
it's a 15-point lead right now. So, you know, come out, put the press on. Otherwise, you're kind of like you're just like asking to be.
Yeah. Why show up?
Yeah.
You know, if you lose by 20 and you play and you've done well, like you've done now, you've closed it to a 15-point game, and you found a way to make the US have to think about what they're doing as opposed to just going out there and throwing. It was like throwing it in the ocean to start with for them. They just couldn't miss because there was no pressure. So Senegal have done a really nice job getting back in it. Take care of the ball, don't turn it over in the backcourt, and you know, get down the floor, and they're asking some questions.
Well, one great thing, Mark, is that just all day today we've just been reminded of how good basketball is all over, and even from Senegal today, without their best, arguably their best player, Badji, having checked out and not with the team, they've come out and they've been competitive really over that last 5 minutes of the first half to give themselves something to think about. The up has been pretty solid.
And they ended the half with this three from, the guy that really helped turn it around. Great job by Boo.
Oda down the lane, counted and the foul. What a move.
We're in for a tense final. Turnover, Wagner! The turnover from Brazil. Now Mo Wagner says Dankeschön in the final.
Doncic in the lane, draws contact and one.
And Doncic knows that his country need him now. He knows that his team need them. He needs to take the reins a little bit closer and control the game. And moves like that, they're just unstoppable.
With Pace the other way, throws it up.
Oh.
Vesely coming out of the Raptors.
And he stepped it up even better. So
Oh! Petrusev throws it down, and the netting now needs to be fixed.
watch this beautiful pick and roll. Petrusev, 2 steps. Yammer.
We have walked this land for a long time. We know how far we've gone, and we're sure of how far we can go. Unity is not just a word here. It's not just a spirit in this sport. It's the way we all move. We are proud of our art, country, family, language, and culture. We are united by basketball.
Welcome to FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2022.
47-32, USA on top of Senegal here in Riga. And, well, you know, they pretty much showed early on the best side of the USA, opening up that 26-point lead. Senegal did well to come back. It was interesting. It really did kind of coincide with Magassa checking out.
Yep.
And Mook checking in. Diop has been pretty solid all along, but also coincided with a little we'll give you a taste of your own medicine type, pick you up full court.
Yeah, I think
disrupting the USA just a tad. Maybe, I don't know, maybe also Coach Dixon making sure he wants to get everybody minutes. You know, maybe that messed him up a little bit.
Yeah, but he's been playing everybody across the tournament. I mean, you know, everybody's in double digits, and it's clear, you know, they've had games where, you know, they have been very much the stronger team, and everybody's played, as I say, double-digit minutes. But I think the interesting thing, Jeff, is if you stand in that locker room before the game with Senegal and say, oh, if we do this and do this and do this, we might have a chance to win, then your guys, they're not crazy. They've got to actually look at the performance side and how can we stay in the game. Because you're not going to go in there with that realistic aspiration. And that's just the way it is. I mean, coaches have to make those decisions about how they engage with their group. But then he took that time out and went to the 1-2 trap and then mixed it up by coming out of it, going man-to-man. And that at least made the United States come down and think, hey, what are they doing? Do we have to do anything, as opposed to pass, open shot?
So, you know, most people are thinking, right, USA eased up. Senegal, yeah, they're still down 15. The USA are just going to blow them out. You know, is this, you know, can the Senegal coach, might he have said at halftime, hey, guys, we're right back in it. Let's just keep doing what we're doing.
I would have hoped he would have said, the reason we came back
been involved in the program, he always goes back, well, they've got a lot of stock in this program, you know, and that's what this all amounts to, really, for a lot of these guys. Second half action underway. Jason Tatum is playing at the Olympics, and he's used to play for so many of the USA youth teams. And good drive and good start, rather, for Senegal here at the start of the second half.
Hey, Donald just caught it and went, oh, that was smooth. That's nice.
Lofton, and Donald got his hands on that. Ivy and Diop. Look at that, the pass up ahead to Sane. Look out, here he goes. Oh, goodness gracious. And Senegal have cut the deficit to 11 points. And as they get closer, confidence grows for the team in white. Look at that, the hands, the reach, and the steal by Diop. Doesn't seem like the pep talk did much from Dixon right before the third quarter. Interesting. I'm glad coach has started him.
It's a good call by the coach. It's a great call.
Sane a little bit trying to do too much.
Have to remember what works. And stay with, until the United States take you out of that, stay with what works.
Miles, Holmgren. Lofton shot clock down to 8. Lofton turns, goes up, ball batted out to Miles, Ivy. And boy, that's a kill for Senegal. That's a big-time shot from Ivy. Just when they're getting a little bit of momentum, you know, you don't get the offensive rebound. That's what happens. You don't get the defensive rebound. Good anticipation. And USA, unsportsmanlike foul called on Mbu. Excellent work there from Harrison Ingram coming up with the steal. No hesitation whatsoever from the New Zealand referee.
See, the thing is, it's not so much coach's pep talk before, it's the fact that he said that, and then Senegal came out and started well. These guys on the floor are going, hey, the coach has asked us. We've got to play more solid man-to-man with the passing lane. They've done that, and that's, you know, Senegal have pushed on. Interesting to see, as we see the replay, the finish that really, again, underlined how well the Senegal have started.
And they, you know what? They don't have the instant replay system here. And Dixon thought they had called the unsportsmanlike, which they did. But I think it's good officiating because the others got over and said, hey, listen. And I, you know, looking at the replay here, I was like, it's not really an unsportsmanlike. He just kind of fell over. Yeah. So they've gotten that straight. So Senegal avoid a very bad sequence there, and they can get a stop here and not give away any points if they play defense. Ivy's hit 1-3 here, kind of slowed down Senegal a little bit. Here he is again, full meter behind the arc, and it's another 3 from him. Boy, he is tough, and that's why he's, well, you'd have to say he is certainly one of the MVP candidates of this tournament.
But yeah, again, he's made tough shots. As opposed to what was happening at the beginning of the game, he's made tough shots. He had people with their hand up, as opposed to, you know, the open looks they got early on.
Nowhere to go there. But look, Diop battles away, and Ingram gets it back. So Diop with the rebound. Foul call on USA. Attempting to get the rebound on Lofton. So Lofton and Ingram go out. First comes back in, and Davis. So Chandler, Watson.
Who stayed? The only guy that stayed out the starting unit. Gas is back in.
Watson comes up with the bump.
Yeah, I think it's a nice, again, with Boo and putting the gasser alongside him at the 2, because the gasser can score. He's making better decisions. The gasser gives him more scoring threat. So Luke said earlier on, something's working in a particular game, and it's the right matchup for the game. Stay with it.
Well, just gets his hands up straight, hits the block. And there goes that. Taking it right back. It's an alley-oop, and Diop gets up there and knocks it away. So you're not dunking on us. Gassa back in. Here he goes, spins, puts it up. And that's the goaltending, or goal interference from Holmgren.
And that's exactly the scenario that we're talking about, in the sense that Luke comes down the floor, sees Magassa's up the floor, so he's already going to finish. He doesn't have to make too many decisions. And
ball was already off the glass. That's why they called it. And you do wonder with Magassa sitting over there stewing, wanting to get back in the game. He's had a lot of time to think about it. Watson, quick pass to first. First foul, so a couple of free throws. Native of Indiana.
Dongo's help, though, maybe a little late, but physically trying to contest. Take the first quarter out of this game, and Senegal could be happy with the way they've competed. I think the way that they've made some adjustments, the way that their defense has been there's more physicality with it, but alongside some really nice work in that trap. They're in good shape. They're doing all right. It's
well, you know how Indiana's like hoops madness, especially high school. And his senior year first started in all 31 games. Was high school, averaging 21.4 points, 14.3 rebounds. Played at Black Hawk Christian School and led him to the 2A state title. Turnover, good reach.
There's Magassa again. It's too much dribbling in no space. There's too much traffic for him to take that many dribbles.
And first had it knocked away. Now numbers for Senegal. Oh, and good hands. I'll tell you, not for the first time today, Chandler has come up and made a play on defense.
So quick. Excellent. So quick.
Holmgren. Davis. Wide open and makes it like it's a free throw. Just nobody with within a country mile of him.
Magassa again held down double down into the high post area where they haven't done it while he's been out. It's not part of the rotation that everyone else seems to be following. That's a hole.
So Holmgren called for another foul.
I thought Diop was pushing him. Foul might be on first. It'd be interesting to look at it again, Jeff, because it's a pretty obvious hole.
It is first, you're right. Great catch after falling down. And Senegal getting on the ground. That's what you got to do. Look at that. They're going to get a layup out of this from Magassa. And that's all effort right there. Absolutely. I mean, they had 3 bodies on the hardwood. Just wonder if Dixon might say something to that effect.
I'm pretty sure he's going to. I love the way coach is like, really, he's coaching, he's not worried about this game, but the things he's looking to improve, it's what he's going to need tomorrow, and he's going to need in a final if they make that. Oh.
Great block by Diop. He has really impressed today.
Yeah.
Both ends of the floor. Might have the odd lapse, but overall he's been tough. Watson passes back to Chandler. Long shot from Baldwin. Baldwin's got a nice looking jump shot for a player his size. 2.2 meters in height, 6 feet 10 inches. Didn't get that one to drop, but Magassa, again, it's an 18-point lead, and Diop goes up strong and gets it to go. I'll tell you, had two guys, First and Baldwin, challenging, and he just went right up. Points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists for Diop. And Davis.
And coach is quite right, you know, like so they get it down to deep on the shot clock. He's guarding someone on the three-point line. No one's asking you to steal it. No one's asking you to get a replay of Diop, as you said, Jeff, throwing it down in traffic. Someone's asking him to steal it out there. It's deep in the clock. Make him make a tough play. Coach is quite rightly not a happy coach.
Chandler to first, and he was contested as he got up near the rim. Good hands by Davis, forcing the turnover. Baldwin gives it back to Davis. Now quickly to First, and First again. A lot of
ring protection. A lot of ring protection.
Oh, Chandler. Once again, over and back.
This is the official who made the call. The Argentinian official on the far side would have been undecided on that. There's no way she could have seen that. So again, another example. The teamwork the officials have to put on the floor is there. You know, they have to work as a group. The ball definitely came off Magassa as he went tried to recover it.
Chandler again. Steps back from the arc and hits the three. Chandler is, wow, really getting a good player. Tennessee Volunteers from the state. At Sunrise Christian Academy, of course. But I would say, looks like he's got the total package. Certainly tough defensively. Here's Magassa, and now he turns it over again. Chandler just kind of lost control.
That's blue again, though.
Alley-oop pass. Good job by Mbu up to Diop.
He's been exceptional. Mbu's been exceptional. His defensive transition there, gets a piece of it, comes down the floor. He really has been, even though Diop's had a great game, he's been the key factor for me in getting Senegal playing the way they played in the middle 2 quarters of this game.
18 years of age. 8 meters in height. Mbu. Miles drives in. And, oh boy, Senegalese were there. Mbu almost had it again. Foul called.
And it's an important moment in the game for Senegal. They trail by 17, obviously. If they hang tough and keep it in the teens, you know, if it goes out to another 25 points like it did, 26 points like it did earlier in the game, their ability to stay with it is going to be really tested.
Again, it's worth repeating. Mbu's only played about 8, almost 9 minutes a game before this one. So the better the competition, the better he seems to play. that's something that will probably not have gone unnoticed over there by his coach and Senegalese coaches overall. Nice dunk down low for the USA.
Just
Kalkbrenner.
super vision, really, in the way that he waits for the situation to develop and then delayed the pass.
That time Mbuk lost control of it, and boy, they don't mess around. Miles punishing him. Great play. So 19 points, the advantage again. Just turnover immediately into attack. Did a good job of using his body to keep Diop away from the basketball.
Even though there's only 1:45 in the third remaining, I think it's a good time to take the time out. He really did. They were looking very, very tired at that point. Diop, Boo looked like they were struggling at that point. So just take the time, then finish the quarter strongly if you can. And then you got the quarter break. You can again reestablish what you want to try and do. If they can get it back under 20, they're going to feel positive about it coming into the fourth.
Diop, number 2, back in. What remains. And swat by Kalkbrenner. Leads immediately to transition. Good hustle, though, from Diop to get down and get the rebound. Here's Mbuk. Quickly, and Kalkbrenner again goes up for the board. Baldwin. Miller. Now Miles. Baldwin, I told you he's got a good shot. Putting it out there for him. Wanted to prove it. And the ball goes.
Yeah, there's an offensive foul on the glass, push in the back.
Baldwin did hit 5 threes coming into this one. 5 of 17 from New York. Ivy. Simon. And Magassa. Haba Magassa. Sene, pretty tired, turns, puts it up, puts it over the rim. Again. We got a double-double by now.
He just has the 8 boards again.
It's surprising.
I know.
We were wondering if somebody else has been getting some of his rebounds.
I'd want to know who's got my rebounds if I was him, because he's been all over everything.
And Gongo, this is everything. And they have to launch it quickly. Miles at the end of the quarter. So, well, Senegal giving a pretty good account of themselves, but nevertheless outscored in the quarter. They're now trailing 65-44 against the rampant USA.
Well, they've got control of things a little bit. I mean, they gave up 32 points in the first quarter. They've only given up 36 in the next 2. So, you know, they've done a much better job. You know, they still struggle from the 3-point line, but
USA certainly aren't struggling from 3-point range. Really, 9 of 19.
Yeah,
been a big difference in this game.
Yeah, that was the underlining of the great start in the third quarter, that play. I mean, a great finish off their defense. And if Senegal could just, they found a way to compete down the defensive end now. So that's 2 consistent quarters where they've done a really nice job. But offensively, they've just got to keep it moving, try and generate that space and get Diop touches. And Magas has got to play off fewer dribbles. If he played off fewer dribbles like he did when he came straight back into the game, he'll be fine. He just spends, the more dribbles he takes, the more help you get, the more traffic he gets. So you've got to be impressed with Senegal in the way that they've responded to the challenge the USA laid down on them in the first quarter.
Yeah, you know, I think if they'd come out a little bit differently at the start of the game, Senegal, this game would be a little bit closer. Yeah. It's kind of like, took them a while to snap out of it. Maybe if they'd come out and pressed from the very beginning.
Well, Coach Dixon asked his team to play better defense in that quarter, and they kept them to 12. Now, normally, if they'd have kept them to 12, you'd have thought, hey, that means the US would run away with this. But an 18-12 quarter still means Senegal have they're in the game. Now, they're not in the game to win it, but they're in the game.
(65-44) USA on top of Senegal here at the start of the fourth quarter, trying to join another team in the semifinals from the Americas, Canada, who won earlier today against Spain. And Malkin comes right out and scores to extend the lead to 23. Of course, the winner of this game faces Canada in the semifinals.
Coach has taken Boo out, Jeff. I think it's a good call. He looked a very, very tired guard. I'd like to see him come back if he gets rested.
Holmgren pulls up, launches, and short, and the ball kind of falls to Diop, and then his pass intercepted by Miles. And this time the ball goes through the hands. Passing from Senegal, they end up with an open shot, and that's the result. 3-pointer.
Diata did a nice job on the shot, but the ball movement was excellent.
There's Miles again, constantly putting pressure on the D, puts it up, and this time well short. So be careful, goes behind his back to avoid Miles, and decides to take it all the way. Good thing Diop hustled down, he gets the rebound, and they go up. Good block by Holmgren. Foul is called.
Sané pretty much sums up how Senegal are. He does a great job defensively, comes up with it, leads the break, and then makes a very, should we say, naive decision down at the end. And as you say, Diop bowed him out with the rebound. Rebound always makes things look better. And Coach again, I love the way that Coach Iso gets him over, has a chat, has a discussion. You know, you did a great job with this. Just be a little bit smarter down the end on the end of the play.
So Diop officially has his double-double, 18 and 11.
Maybe sent his representative to the stats man.
Well, he just got the rebound. Yeah. That one, didn't he? And Holmgren gets his rebound. Huge number today for Holmgren. Just 4 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. 3-point shot. And Diop put the rebound. And Holmgren, again, another foul. He's a little bit frustrated.
Well, he's going up against some size that's very athletic, and at the moment he's finding out a challenge.
I'm not sure if they called it on Holmgren or Lofton.
I think they called it on Lofton on the rebound. I think he just reached as Diop secured it.
Yeah, they did call it. Yep. So Holmgren's reaction made it look like it was on him. Bamba Diatta. Say, getting better defense. Nope. Inside to Diop. He's having a field day, isn't he?
No help at all. Just tried to front, tried to force to the baseline with no help. And that's asking for the, it'll be a soft throwdown.
Lofton again. He's trying to go at Diop. Offensive foul.
Ivy off the ball.
So he's going to go out. Ivy. And for the first time in this game, Senegal kind of digging in and fighting back. Gassa brings it up. What about Miller? Miller, great hands. Put the pressure on Magassa.
That same problem, you know, too many dribbles. You know, they've had a lot of success if they move the ball, change passing angles, look to isolate a little bit down low. They've had a lot of success in the low block across this game. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Diop from the right. Okay, if that had gone in, another highlight for him in the game, but it stayed out. And now a push. So it goes back to the USA, up 17. Diarra goes out of the game. And so comes back in. Davis gets to the paint, puts it up. Lofton keeps it alive, gets it again. Ball goes to the Senegalese.
Got a lot of contact on that Lofton. He got called for a little ticky-tack foul really on the rebound. He goes up strong. He gets a lot of contact on that play. And, yeah, I do feel for him on that one.
Offensive foul called on Magassa, kind of extending his right arm, or left arm. There it is.
He's just struggling with the pressure. Magassa is just struggling. He
extended both arms.
Yeah, he's had a very good tournament today, but against the
USA, it hasn't gone well.
No.
So Hope is back in the game. So you get your wish. 6.5 minutes remaining.
I'd like to see Magassa play with him more. I think that combination would have some offensive potential.
Oh, goodness me. How about that? Holmgren, boy, that was smooth. Flying through the air. Getting a reverse layup. Diop. Action. And traveling on and don't go. But
man, Diop's vision, you know,
look at this.
You know, oops-a-doops.
Wow.
Nice control. A little bit of spin.
Very Stacey Augman-esque, perhaps. Goes down, back up. Lofton passes it down low. Real quick pump fakes. This is an easy one. D by Davis. He's going to be helped up. Good sportsmanship from Diop. 5.5 minutes remaining.
Diop, yes, 32 minutes. He's put in a hell of a shift. Still out there, getting it done.
So from the left, so far. Miller. Holmgren.
foul.
And fouled while hitting the three. He's shown us a couple of special plays here in the last couple of minutes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's got great form. He feels smooth with it. Looks very comfortable from the three-point line. It's one of those cardinal sins to foul the three-point shooter. So, always.
Well, Holmgren had hit only 3 threes coming into this, 3 of 7. Now got a 4-point play to his name in this game. Shots on Dongo on the left, but he's missing. Bounce pass intercepted by Dongo. He gets rid of it and looks like trying to take one for the team there. Adam Miller, but no call.
I think he may have been inside the T.
The Key West.
I think so.
Okay.
Otherwise, I can't understand why it wasn't.
Game as well, and he turned it over. I should be quite impressed by Paul Brenner. Good to see him back out there. So, Sane Gay back in now for Senegal and Boop, and of course Diop is going to stay out there. And there's Kalkbrenner, good work from Baldwin, getting him the basketball. $25 points the advantage for the USA. 3.5 minutes remaining. And
soft finish.
Yep. So flies in, absorbs the contact, goes to the line. Look at this. Kalkbrenner picks up the foul. Kalkbrenner gets the rebound off the missed free throw. Miles Chandler still out there. And Miles keeping control of the basketball. He got it back. Now he gets into paint. Kalkbrenner with the rebound. And the putback from Baldwin. Now pulling pass by Diop, but led so too much, so it goes out of bounds and back to the USA with 3 minutes and 1 second remaining. Watson will come in for the Americans. And Diop is going to head over to Senegal.
No, I mean, you have to question because I think that countries miss out. They don't get the experience coming through. They don't get the buy-in to the national team programs, and they don't feel part of anything. So,
I mean, Nigeria.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, you always see the Senegalese, Mali, of course, and you know, these guys, it's important for them to get that experience. Here you see Baldwin.
Did a nice job.
Remember Argentina, Spain, how the youth programs were really
Spain is a great example, isn't it? You know, and Serbia at the same time as at various points you see that great Spanish team that wins a World Under-19, then goes to win a World Cup in those, and wins the world, and still winning World Cup for some of those guys. So
Greece have had some, really good youth teams over the years, and players have graduated to the senior teams. Usually, you see it. You get out of what you put into it.
Yep.
And Senegal, remember they advanced from the group phase of the World Cup in 2014 in Spain. These guys coming from the youth program. So I think it's safe to say that we're going to see some of these guys moving on to the next stage with the national team at some point.
And there's other parts of the game in Africa developed, so you get the new African League now, that you hope to see that some of these young guys not necessarily have to leave the continent of Africa to try and generate a pro career. Hopefully there's something, those types of initiatives, the NBA academies that go into various parts of each continent, etc. There's opportunities that are there. The national team program should reflect that. And there's no better place to reflect it than at the under-19, the under-17 world championships that these players develop.
FIBA also puts a lot of time and energy into helping the development in Africa as well. Here is Colferno getting the rebound, and the passing back out. Now Watson, a little too hard, and again, look at that, just to get the hands up.
Jeff, you make a great point as they try and come down the floor. FIBA putting people in to help coaching. I mean, like Nelson Isaac's here at the event, and he's spent a lot of time in the continent of Africa and stuff like this, developing coaches so that when he leaves after running those programs, you've got guys who can take the sport forward.
And a foul called. So I think three free throws coming after the foul on Jaden Ivey. Well, it's going to be USA and Canada in the semifinals. There's no doubt about it. And I'll tell you, the USA better be ready, because I know Canada will be ready. Well, also, Canada better be ready. There's some talent in this USA team.
We were privileged to be there in Egypt when they played in the semifinal, and that was an intense battle. And look at the guys that came out of that game. And have got pro careers now at the highest possible level. So,
R.J. Barrett for Canada, the MVP of that tournament. Played for the Knicks. Played for Canada recently in the FIBA qualifying tournament. And good defense, Watson.
You speak to the Canadian Federation, Jeff, and that's why the reason they commit to these junior programs, to get people invested in the national team so that when they make their pro careers and everything else, the experience he got winning a world championship at this event is part of the reason he's still playing for the national team and wants to play for the national team.
Well, you remember when he, in that tournament, I mean, it's seared into your memory, isn't it? How passionate, how excited he was. All those Canada players. And again, Ivy coming down and getting another jump shot. So USA, they're not going to get to 100 today, but they've had a decent day's work. Most of it coming in that first quarter when they scored 32 points. Nice little jump hook there. Sane. He had one of the highlights, that fast break dunk at the start of the third quarter.
Sane has lots of upside. The more experience he can get,
Well, Ivy was going in for the dunk. He took the punishment and still makes the shot. Goodness me. Great player.
Yeah, we can break it down, Jeff, but that sums it up. He's a great player.
Look at this. He was going to dunk that. Oh, no. I guess it wasn't. He knew the block was coming, so he was prepared. Pulled it back and then just laid it up and in. It's a tremendous honor for all of these guys to make this USA team. This is one hard team to make.
Yeah.
The number of candidates that they have. So many good players have played as USA teams over the years. So 48.3 seconds remain. USA putting the finishing touches on a game that they've been pretty decisive, but there's been some flashes from Senegal, some things I think that they can build on. Miles misses his first, comes away, quite control it. Now Miles again, and he's going to hold it up.
Yeah, I think if you ask Coach Dixon about it, he'll be pleased that Senegal have asked him some questions, because they've had to find, they've had to deal with a little trap. They've had to deal with the ring protection that Senegal can put out there. Great move.
Wow. He just thrives driving to the basket and taking the contact and scoring. Look at this again.
I don't think Coach would have wanted them to come in here and win by 50, having not been asked a question. To win it by 30, they've had to play well to win by 30. He's used everybody, rotated everybody. He ticks that box. But especially on the inside and at the defensive end, they've been asking questions, especially by Diop. So you would hope he'll think that they've progressed from this game, and that'll help them when it comes to the semifinal.
So USA came, they saw, and they have won against Senegal 88-58. They march into the semifinals. That is certainly going to get everybody excited because coming up next is a showdown with Canada. Again, the Americans, USA winning it 88-58 over Senegal.
Look at the stats, Jeff. Before we get the numbers, I think that there was enough of a challenge there for this team to develop. I think there was enough of this challenge for this team to move forward. I mean, they're not going to be overly impressed in terms of, especially the way the percentages dipped as the game went on. But anytime you get that number of assists, you're going to be happy. As a coach is going to look at that and say, yeah, we shared the ball, we created for each other, and.
Coach Dixon's going to talk to him about being out-rebounded, isn't he?
Oh, totally. Absolutely, totally. Diop was exceptional. You've got to say he had a really marvelous game.
Yeah, he did.
And Senegal should hold their heads high, and you're going to see why in these best plays of the second half, where, and we heard it right at the beginning of the half. They didn't want there. Coach Dixon was unhappy. They'd been outworked on the rebound. Diop had really given them a problem. And they came out at the start of the third quarter, Senegal, and really did play well. And it got a great reaction out of the United States.
And you can only imagine if Badji had been here, it might have been even tougher for the USA. You would think so.
Yeah, you would expect it to have been. And the other thing, he's missed that opportunity for that experience. I know he's gone to NBA workouts, but I don't think you can replace the experience of playing your national team in the World Cup Under-19 Championships.
Yeah, it must have been pre-scheduled, but at the same time, you commit. It seems like when you commit to the team, you got to be there for the whole thing.
I would 100% agree with you. I mean, I think it's
because you've missed a chance to play the USA.
And where's the priority? Playing for your country or a workout? I mean, there are workouts. There's not that many. I get it from a professional perspective.
But
and would they have qualified for the knockout stage without him? Well, there's a debate. Has he contributed that? So, there's all sorts of ways to look at it. The major way is you've decided not to play for your national team in the Under-19 World Cup. It's
I mean, you know, we don't know the full story behind that. So but at the end of the day, these guys that did show up, okay, they were kind of steamrolled with that USA press in the first quarter, but overall, I think they gave a good account of themselves. And you're right. I think USA, you know, there were moments in this game that tested them, and I guess Coach Dixon will be hoping that they can grow from it. Because again, Canada, having, you know, had to really battle away today to beat an excellent Spain team, they're going to be waiting, and they'll be licking their chops at a chance to beat the USA again, just like they did 4 years ago.
And there's not that normal thing of, oh, we're playing the United States that are going to go into favorites. Like when they played in Egypt, that's only like 2 World Cups ago, they got to the final.
So there it is, Canada and USA on the left, meeting in the semifinals after winning their quarterfinals today. Next up will be Serbia and Argentina, the last quarterfinal of the day. The winner to face France. USA win it 88-58 over Senegal here in Riga at the FIBA Under-19 Basketball World Cup.